Well, we have an emergency podcast, unexpected, but here we are. We have a lot to talk about. Welcome in, Farzin Vasugian here with you on this episode of the Chiefs Zone podcast. No, we are not here to talk about the Chiefs product on the field. Instead, we're here to talk about where that field might be in about 6 to 7 years from now, because even less than that, my math is way off. I think it's 7 years. Yeah, but regardless, we've got a lot to discuss. As breaking news on Monday, there is a meeting happening in Topeka, Kansas, an LCC meeting to be clear, and the Chiefs are expected to be part of that meeting. Now, keep in mind, it's December the 23rd when that's happening. These guys have holiday and Christmas events to go to, so this is going to be pretty quick. And I would imagine there's going to be a major announcement sometime on the 23rd. That is going to be an interesting day. Welcome into the Chiefs Zone podcast. My name is Farzin Vasugian. I appreciate you guys joining me on this emergency edition of the Chiefs Zone podcast. A lot of you guys tuning in right now. I see you guys on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram. Appreciate you guys joining us on this surprise pop-up episode. A lot of things to get into. Little time to waste. This podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek. New customers can use my promo code and save $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. Sports, concerts, whatever you want to attend. You want to go? SeatGeek has it. Go to SeatGeek.com, get your tickets. New customers at checkout can enter my promo code Farzin and save $20 off your first purchase from SeatGeek. All right. We have a lot to get into, and boy, I've been keeping an eye on social media. I've been listening to both talk stations, sports talk stations, that is. It is a firestorm you thought the last 5 days have been a firestorm with the Chiefs being eliminated from playoff contention? No. The Chiefs decided to leak something out there through the media, and they're like, yeah, let's do the most tone-deaf thing ever and let it be known we're moving to Kansas. The week the Chiefs are eliminated from playoff contention, there is basically a strong sense that the Chiefs are ready to move. Folks, this is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So let me bring you guys up to speed, because the state of Kansas, they have the ball at the 1 yard line. They're about to push this thing into the end zone with ease. So here is the initial report. This was around 2:30 Central Time. Soren Petro of Sports Radio 810 WHB. I apologize for those on the video version. That's not what you want to see. That is what you want to see. He tweeted out there this afternoon that there's a scheduled meeting in Topeka. The Chiefs are supposed to be part of that meeting. The Royals are not. And as long as there's not a last-minute screw-up, the Chiefs are basically going to announce that they're moving to Kansas. Then the Department of Commerce, they also put out a statement following all of the rumors that were just popping up left and right. They confirmed there is a meeting that is scheduled to happen. As I try to adjust this here, bear with me just a moment. I'm not used to this. There we go. The Kansas Department of Commerce, they basically confirmed that the meeting is going to happen. They didn't say who it would involve, but they basically were saying that there's no final agreement yet, but it would be a massive economic win for the state of Kansas and would benefit Kansans for generations to come. And of course, they said they're aggressively pursuing this opportunity. And then shortly after that, Bob Fesco of 610 Sports, he came out with a little report of his own. He was over on KMBZ, which is 610 sister station, their news radio station, and Dana Wright, one of the co-hosts, put out there that Bob Fesco basically was saying, yes, the Chiefs announcement will come Monday, and there's also going to be a Royals announcement very soon, and that they will also announce that they're going to Kansas. Now, the Royals are not expected to be part of that Monday meeting, as far as we know. That can change. That can certainly change. But Ty Masterson, the Senate state president for the state of Kansas, who is also the chair of the LCC, who, by the way, has been very optimistic this entire time. He was on Pete Mundo's show, I want to say around August or September, and was asked about the odds of those two teams coming. And he said, I'm not a betting man, but I would bet on both teams to come on over to Kansas. Well, he said he would bet more on the Royals than the Chiefs, but bet that both teams would make the move to the state of Kansas. So Ty Masterson did issue a statement today that they are fully committed to making this happen. And he says that the Royals are fully committed to making a move. So that got a lot of people interested in this subject, even more so. Now, it did not end there, because the governor of Missouri, Mike Kehoe, and Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas, they also issued a statement. I'm not going to read both statements out loud to you guys. I know it's a little small on the video version there, but basically they're saying this isn't over. We're still negotiating. We're still talking. Governor Mike Kehoe was basically optimistic that the two teams would stay, or at least he believes that's what's best for them. And Mayor Quinton Lucas basically said the same thing. You know what these two statements are? And I really hate to say this, but it's true. Remember in Super Bowl 59 when the Eagles were up, what was it, 40-6? And then Patrick Mahomes, with whatever time was left, went out there and threw a late touchdown pass to Xavier Worthy. That's what the state of Missouri is doing right now. I hate to say it. That one hurts to say. We still have scars from that Super Bowl, but that is exactly what's happening right now. Listen, I'm not necessarily shocked they're making this move. I told you guys it would happen, and I got a lot of pushback from you guys. Farzine, stop posting this. They're not moving. You're just wasting your time on this. Really? I mean, there were a lot of people. A lot of you guys told me that the state of Kansas was being used as puppets, and that the teams were using Kansas as leverage so they could get what they are asking for from the state of Missouri. A lot of you guys told me this. These are your guys' words, not mine. I mean, this is what you guys told me. And what do you know? It turns out the state of Kansas was never a puppet after all. They never were being used as quote unquote leverage. Kansas was a serious player the entire time. The Chiefs took the Chiefs took Kansas very seriously from the start. And then the Royals, they saw, Star Bonds, you guys are going to get a brand new stadium. We want in on this too. So the Royals started being part of that conversation. And we know about the Hesperia campus. The mortgage is owned by the Kansas City Royals. Now, the Royals, again, we still don't have a final word as to what's going on there, but they have 3 venues in play right now. The Hesperia campus in Overland Park, Washington Square Park, which I don't think is really that serious of a player here, and of course, North KC. So that is right now the situation with the Kansas City Royals. But again, the rumors are coming out recently after the Chiefs rumor that they're on their way. So how did we get here? Because I think that's very important. I'm seeing a lot of people criticize the state, or not the state of Missouri, but specifically Jackson County residents. And I don't think that's fair. And I'll get into why in a moment. But let's start here, because in late February, almost 2 years ago, what happened? Clark Hunt put out the renovation plan. I apologize. I'm reading a text message as I'm trying to talk here. with all these updates coming in here. But the state of, I'm sorry, the Chiefs, they went out there and revealed their $800 million renovation plan. The crazy part about this, the exact minute Clark Hunt was doing this presentation in front of the media, the NFLPA report cards came out and he got an F- grade. So the timing of this could not have been any worse. He just got a minus failing grade. I didn't even know that was possible. Not that I've ever gotten an F in college, but boy, I did not know F- were a thing. I thought it was anything below 59%. I just assumed was an F, but he got an F-. And listen, I've seen Clark Hunt do a lot of interviews. When he did that media scrum after the renovation plan was revealed, he did not look very comfortable answering questions, because I'm sure the Chiefs PR staff informed him with little time to prepare him. They're like, hey, you just got a failing grade on the NFLPA report card. Oh, by the way, you got to answer questions now. That was not great timing for the Chiefs or Clark Hunt. You're asking for $800 million and you just got this failing grade. Anyway, so the Chiefs and the Royals, they're married together here. They're putting out this this campaign. Basically, they even used Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce back when they were practicing at the time, because this was before Super Bowl 58 happened. So they would pull them after practice and say, hey, stand in front of the camera and just say, hey, Missouri, vote yes, please. They did that for with Mahomes, with Kelce. The Royals did it with Salvador Perez, arguably the three most beloved athletes this city has had in the last 10 years. I mean, we've got 4 World Series and Super Bowl MVPs between those three. The third one, who doesn't have a championship MVP, but has certainly garnered a lot of attention lately. We can say that, right? But what happened? The Chiefs, what was the renovation plan? It was basically VIP entrances. And I told you guys at that time, who the hell cares? Seriously, who's going to use that? And with all due respect, I have nothing but great respect for some of our local celebrities who do big things with Big Slick. But who's going to use that VIP entrance? Is it going to be Paul Rudd, Rob Riggle, Eric Stonestreet, Taylor Swift? Whenever Travis retires, him and Taylor and their celebrity friends? I don't care about VIP entrances. Like, who cares? That's the renovation plan for $800 million? That they were going to have multiple VIP entrances? I don't care about that. Knock my socks off, man. Give me something big. Okay, we're going to have upgraded video boards. Dude, I went to Arrowhead this year for a game. I looked at the video board and there was nothing wrong with the video board. Nothing. Nothing's wrong with the video board. Why do we need to upgrade that? They need to upgrade the speaker system. The speaker system at Arrowhead is horrendous. But there was nothing in the plans for that. And the Royals, they provided no logistical explanation, no clarity, nothing, no transparency whatsoever with their Crossroads plan. And you know what the worst part about this? Not one single politician questioned this. They said, oh, do you want to stay? This is what you want? Yeah, we'll support it. Mayor Quinton Lucas endorsed it. But what was worse is that Mayor Quinton Lucas went on a live stream, because he does several live streams throughout the year to interact with Kansas City, Missouri residents and to answer questions, which I actually appreciate. And one of the questions was, are you aware of the miscommunication between the Crossroads and the Royals? Because the Royals claimed they were speaking to business owners that essentially were going to be forced to give up their business and go elsewhere. The business owners there said, no, this is not true at all. We have not been in one single conversation with the Royals, which is a horrible look for John Sherman and the Royals. And the mayor of Kansas City was not aware of it. How the hell can you endorse something and not be aware of those logistical mishaps? It made no sense at all. Made no sense. And what happened? Jackson County said, hell no. 58% to 42%. A lot of people thought this was going to be a landslide in favor of the Chiefs and Royals. Not even close to that. And I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised at all. So the vote gets turned down, and Kansas wasted no time getting in touch with the Chiefs. And in June of 2024, Kansas approved of the Star Bonds bill in an attempt to lure the Chiefs and the Royals. The House voted 84 to 38. I don't know what the state Senate voted. I was trying to look that up, couldn't find it. But it's a 70% Star Bonds bill. And the mayor has tried very hard to push back against this, saying that we have the better deal. The Star Bonds are kind of fake. Well, those fake Star Bonds are about to get the Chiefs and possibly the Royals. So in spring of this year, the Missouri Senators failed to vote on a bill to try to keep the Chiefs and the Royals in Kansas City, Missouri. However, they reconvened pretty quickly. In May, they announced a special session that was going to be happening in June, basically a fight in the 11th hour to try to keep the Chiefs and the Royals. It was a week-long special session event. It was, this is the part of politics that I do not understand why anyone would want to get into politics. This is like the most aggressive I have ever followed politics in my life, just to be clear. But on June the 4th, this was a Wednesday, the Missouri Special Senate was postponed, and there were a lot of things happening behind the scenes. They were rewriting some of the proposals for certain bills. And they finally started, I want to say around 5 o'clock that evening, but boy, it lasted into like 2:30 a.m., 2:27 a.m. to be exact, or at least for one of the bills. So it was a very crazy and a very chaotic meeting. Listen, I've said this before. The state of Kansas is offering 70% for a brand new stadium for both the Chiefs and the Royals. However, the state of Missouri, their proposal was 50%. The senators during the special session admitted that the state of Kansas, even if the state of Missouri approves of this and signs off on this bill, puts it on the governor's desk, all of that Kansas still has a better offer. They literally admitted that in the special session. And it was a crazy meeting. And the vote, not necessarily one-sided, it was 19-13. The vote was to approve of a 50% bill at 2:27 a.m. And then shortly after that, a week or two later, the House approved of it. I listened to Mayor Quinton Lucas. He was on Pete Mundo's show. And props to Pete Mundo. He's done a fantastic job covering this whole story from the very beginning. That's really how I discovered Pete and his show. Mayor Quinton Lucas told Pete Mundo that the 50% state funding essentially is enough to keep the teams, which was not true at all. Which is funny because, and you're going to notice a pattern here, the Chiefs, they admitted it without admitting it. They were still seeking more assistance, and they wanted to try one more vote, or at least they said that's what they would like to do. So the mayor said, oh, the state 50%, that's enough. But the Chiefs were like, oh, we'd like to see more from the county and the city. Now, again, I said you'll notice a pattern with this. Mayor Quinton Lucas, multiple times, said on his live streams that the city can do more to activate the area around the Truman Sports Complex to try to basically entice people to go there more and make it an entertainment district for the Chiefs. Well, in training camp, Clark Hunt said that is unlikely. The area cannot really sustain that kind of thing. And Clark Hunt is right. But still, the mayor, just as recent as November the 30th, still saying the tune of, we can do more to activate the area around the Truman Sports Complex. So you have the mayor saying one thing, and you have the chief saying a whole different thing on multiple, different mini subjects in regards to how they can keep the Chiefs in Missouri, and specifically Arrowhead Stadium. Now, late in June, we do have to back up a little bit. Late in June, Mark Donovan wrote a 2-page letter to the state of Kansas asking them to extend the STAR bonds for a year. Oh, that letter triggered a lot of people. I think that was the first indication that Kansas is not a puppet. Kansas is not some fake candidate here. I think that letter was really telling to a lot of people. And they finally understood, wait a minute, this is not a puppet. This is a state that's actually on the cusp of pulling something off that some people didn't think was even possible. So the state of Kansas says, yes, we'll extend them by a year. However, Senate State President Ty Masterson, and he deserves a lot of credit for his work on this, he was very stern on a 2025, end of 2025 deadline, which is coming up in less than 2 weeks. Do I have that right? We're on the 18th. Yes. The 2025 calendar year ends in 13 days. So within these 13 days, we're going to get a lot of answers, it sounds like. Because I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, I said, hey, Kansas wants an answer by the end of 2025. We haven't even come close to something. Well, it sounds like we're getting there. Let's see. Here's one big criticism. I've had a lot of criticism of Mayor Quinton Lucas on this. But you know what the biggest one is? His big pushback as to why Kansas or the Chiefs should not move to Kansas. He was basically saying spending $2 billion to move a few miles across the state line and to move some jobs over the state line is unnecessary. Yet, he was literally about to do the exact same thing for the Royals. Now, the Royals were the plan for, at least the mayor's plan is not for the Royals to move across the state line. Obviously, he wants to keep them in Casey Mo, but how are you going to tell us the Chiefs should not move for $2 billion and just stay in the area where they're at already when you're about to do the same thing for the Royals? Listen, this is, again, the part of politics I hate. Politicians talk to us like we're a bunch of dumbasses. And listen, there are a lot of people that can't comprehend things. Why do politicians reach out to some of their friends in Hollywood and ask for an endorsement? Because they know that their fans are just going to blindly vote and follow along. But there are a lot of us out there that just don't do that kind of thing. So when the mayor is saying, hey, Chiefs, don't move for a $2 billion stadium, keep the jobs where they are. It's not necessary to move a few miles away. But the Royals, yeah, the Royals can move a few miles away for a $2 billion stadium. Not the Chiefs. They're only the Royals. Like, come on, man. That's some political BS there. Like, serious political BS. Well, now I think the mayor's got to be ready for the possibility of both of them going. Now, I will say this. The Chiefs at training camp kept saying, hey, we're close, we're very close. And I kept wondering, okay, when? And I guess we're about to find out. I know the Jewish Community Center, which I have not been to in a long time, now that I think about it. I think the last time was elementary graduation. Their gift to us was, hey, let's go to the Jewish Community Center. It's actually a great place. I got to try to make a trip back out there, I guess, before it gets chaotic in that area. But they recently issued a statement basically asking for the Royals to not move there. They're concerned about, I guess, congestion during the construction and all, and how it would shy people away from going to the JCC. And I can't say I blame them. I can't say I blame them at all. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, listen, there's a lot of construction going on with 69 Highway right now. I'll tell you right now, me personally, if I'm trying to go through that area to get somewhere, I'm going to try my best to avoid 69 Highway because the construction is pretty bad. There have been a few wrecks in that area. I think it's logical, right? If you know of a place for your commute where there's a lot of construction, you're going to try to avoid that area and use a shortcut or a different route to get to your destination. I think everyone will try to do that. But anyway, that is where we are, and that is why we got to this place. Now, listen, I know this this whole Kansas Missouri thing, I think, is so stupid. Unless this is Jayhawks versus Tigers, dude. Look, I'm a naturalized American citizen. Now, are there places like states and cities in the United States that are not safe? Yes, of course. I think in the Kansas side, there are some areas that I definitely would avoid. Same on the Missouri side. But I've never understood American citizens, born American citizens, that want to shit on other cities in their own country. That's never made any sense to me. Like, do people in Toronto shit on Vancouver or vice versa? Like, seriously, does that happen in other countries? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I think it's weird that it happens this way. It even happens in our own metro area. But if you're going to be one of those people that's like, oh, I can't stand Kansas, I will not support the Chiefs because they're in Kansas. You mean to tell me you really, really, really won't support the Chiefs just because they're in Kansas? Because I guarantee you, all these people that are like, no, I will never support a team in Kansas, you are the same people who've gone to Joe's KC Barbecue. There are 3 Joe's KC locations. They're all in Kansas. You mean to tell me you've never been to Slaps Barbecue? Slaps Barbecue is in KCK. You mean to tell me you've never been to the Legends, one of the more popular attractions in this metro area? You mean to tell me you've never been to a Sporting KC game, a KC T-Bones game, now Monarchs, never been to a Speedway event? All of those things are on the Kansas side. And because the Chiefs are there, suddenly now Kansas is evil and you will never support the Chiefs because you think they're evil too now? Like, come on. Let's get out of here. Like, chill out a bit, man. See, I'm even seeing the arguments in the comments. I'm not a fan of that stuff. Jeff says enjoy $500 nosebleed seats. Okay. Are you, Jeff, do you mean, and I hope I'm saying your name correctly, do you mean to tell me that, oh, Dan, you are stirring the pot with that one. You are stirring the pot with that one, Dan. I'll get to Dan's comment in a moment. But to address Jeff's comment here about ticket prices going up, first of all, from now until 2031, and this is not me trying to trick you guys, do you not think prices for everything will not go up? Of course it will. Ticket prices are going to go up. Hell, the last 7 years, have you not seen ticket prices for Arrowhead Stadium? They're insane. Right now they're not because the team is 6-8. But the last 7 years, the price increase has been astronomically insane. But guess what? Nobody cares because when you're winning 5 AFC championships and 3 Super Bowls, people will pay anything. If someone says, what is the price? Chiefs fans are not going to ask for a number. They're going to say yes, because it's worth it to go to Arrowhead Stadium. Maybe not this season. And a lot of people believe that this is just temporary, not permanent with Kansas City struggles. But you mean to tell me, like, the expectation is the Chiefs are going to continue playing at a high level. So if that's the case, yeah, Jeff, there will be $500 nosebleed tickets, whether at One Arrowhead Drive or in KCK. Somebody else commented the exact same thing before we went live and said, oh, well, parking is going to be $100 to park there. What is parking right now for Arrowhead? Let me look that up. Because I think I paid $60 when I went for a preseason game. Bear with me one moment here. If I'm going to SeatGeek, the cheapest parking pass I can find for the last game, obviously it's going to be the last game regardless, on Christmas, which is going to be a week from, it's going to be in 6 days, it's $66. I was going to say 60, but I wanted to get the exact number. So in 2025, parking at Arrowhead costs you $60. So for those who are saying that in KCK it's going to cost you $100, what do you think it'll cost at Arrowhead Stadium in 2031 if they stayed there? It'll probably be close to that anyway. I mean, listen, I get there are a lot of people that don't like the state of Kansas, and a lot of people in Missouri are outraged. I can't control how you guys feel, man. But if you're going to start bringing up ticket prices are going to go up anyway, especially if the Chiefs are good. And I think the expectation is they'll continue to be good. This is all going to be temporary, the struggles from this year. So ticket prices are going to go up anyway. By the way, to address Dan's comment, remember when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl against the 49ers the first time? Super Bowl 54. We have so many Super Bowls, I'm trying to keep track of them all. President Donald Trump went on Twitter and congratulated the great state of Kansas, and everyone gave him a hard time about it. They're like, "Hey, you're the president. You don't know what state the Chiefs are in your own country." And now people are like, "Oh, he was projecting something the whole time." Gotta admit, that's actually pretty funny. Brent says anything west of Wichita is just there. Oh boy. What's up, Ryan? Ryan of Beskar Book says, haven't the citizens of Kansas City voted the notion down multiple times? The renovations, just one time. Now, there were major renovations back in 2010. Those were great renovations. I thought the Royals hit it out of the park, no pun intended, with that renovation. And the Chiefs, I thought they did a great job too with the Skybox. For those who've never been to a Skybox, if you don't think you'll ever go there for a game, go at least get a tour of Arrowhead Stadium. They'll take you to the Skybox, and you'll get to see some other suites and things that you might not ever get to see. But yeah, the renovation plan for the recent one was turned down once. They did turn down the rolling roof many years ago. So I think that might be what you're referring to. And look, the two stadiums have gone through major renovations twice now. I mean, it's getting to a point now, it's like you're putting lipstick on a pig. You're putting multiple Band-Aids on these stadiums. And listen, I get it. Look, whether you think it's the right move or not to have a new stadium for the Chiefs, no one can deny that it is sad to see Arrowhead Stadium go. Listen, I know a lot of you guys are not going to like hearing this, but I am on the side of it is time, because there are a lot of stadiums that are going this direction. I know a lot of you guys are saying that the Chiefs are getting rid of a home field advantage, having an outdoor stadium. Well, first of all, the state of Missouri was considering building a roof anyway. That's at least what Governor Kehoe was saying recently. So it sounds like the Chiefs, or it sounds like the state of Missouri was trying to get a roof going to keep them in Arrowhead. So that you can't bring that argument up either. But listen, I do agree that this indoor stadium, yes, it's going to be less fans, but they've already decreased capacity there already. So you can't use that as a pushback either. I know it's going to be way less, but still, it's going to bring a lot of opportunities. Yes, if every team is getting an indoor stadium, then you're not going to be in active rotation for the Super Bowl. But I think it's still worth it for that one Super Bowl. And I don't think it's just going to be one Super Bowl. I think you can bring a lot of events to this new stadium. I said WrestleMania. I think it's a great place to have it. Heart of America, great place for everyone to get in the middle for WrestleMania. Why not? I know Kansas City is not viewed as a major market, respectably so. It's true, but I think you can make it, hey, middle of the country. Yeah, let's get an event, a WrestleMania event one day. Now that they're trying to go out of the U.S., I guess KC might not be out of it, but that's not the only thing. I think one thing that you've got to figure out, and I think this is very doable, you've got to find a way to get a college bowl game. And I know college bowl games are not being viewed the same way, especially with teams opting out now, but there's still a market for them nonetheless. I think you can get a Heart of America bowl. My friend Mark Van Sickle said a Sunflower Bowl. That's reasonable. By the way, if you hear craziness in the background, the winds are crazy today in Kansas City. So I can actually hear my neighbor's trash can lid going in and out. It's crazy. It's slamming shut real loud. But this whole thing here with Missouri, listen, man, they had opportunities. They had an opportunity to provide a good campaign, and they didn't. Don't blame these residents who voted no. They had a valid reason to vote no. The Royals gave no transparency, and the Chiefs, their renovation plan was absolutely underwhelming. That was not worth $800 million. And by the way, one thing I failed to mention, the Chiefs, they did say to the senators of Missouri that their new renovation plan was going to be $1.15 billion, a $300 million increase. And you can't use inflation because inflation did not go up by that much. What was it? So give or take 30%? You can't use inflation as an excuse. But yet these politicians, which again, I've said many times, I don't understand this part of politics at all. These politicians did not, a single one of them, question why the renovation plan had to go up $300 million. If I was one of those elected officials, I'd be like, oh, okay. Why? Why do you need a $300 million increase for your 2.0 renovation plan? But no one questioned that. And again, that's a part of politics I genuinely do not understand, man. Listen, a lot of you guys are asking, a lot of you guys are asking what's going to happen to Arrowhead. I got no idea, man. I mean, listen, that stadium is not owned by the Chiefs, though the county, which owns Arrowhead, they do give the Hunt family a lot of control. And I mean, listen, the Hunt family has their own house inside Arrowhead. This is not a secret at all. But anytime, for a lot of people don't know this, the Hunt family does not live in Kansas City. They don't live here. And if you guys don't know, Mark Donovan has been spearheading this project for the Chiefs because Mark Donovan lives here. He's familiar with the area. Clark Hunt, I mean, Clark Hunt gets, I just heard something. Dude, these wins, it all honestly sounds like the roof is about to come off. Hopefully, wherever you guys are in KC, you guys are not experiencing this, but that did not sound good. This could be a very interesting live stream. It's been a very interesting week already for the Chiefs. Why not? I forgot my train of thought. Oh yeah, the Hunt family, they don't live here. The only time they're here is for home games, and then a few events like the draft and maybe a few events here and there. I know Clark Hunt's been in Kansas City for the Chiefs holiday Christmas party, Thanksgiving drive, turkey drive that they were doing with some other Chiefs ambassadors, former players. That's usually when Clark Hunt comes to Arrowhead. And he stays inside Arrowhead Stadium. That's where his home is. You got to get through some security to get to that point. So, to my understanding, it is safe. There haven't been any safety concerns in the past, so it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, again, I understand a lot of people are upset. Here's my thing. They're not moving away. Like, listen, there were rumors that the Royals were considering Nashville and that there were even Utah was strongly trying to get a baseball team and they were eyeing the Royals. Now, the Chiefs, I know the mayor of Dallas was trying to invite the Chiefs back because, as you all remember, they were once the Dallas Texans. That did not seem like it was a very serious consideration at all from the Hunt family. Clark Hunt made it very clear he wanted the Chiefs to stay in the Kansas City metro area. And that was my biggest thing to you guys in the very beginning of all of this. I don't care where they go. Number one, I want them to do it right. If you're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars, possibly more than $1 billion, which I guess the second set of renovation plans did surpass $1 billion. So yeah, it's a lot of money. I mean, if we're going to go this route, do it right and stay in the area. And I think they put a green check on both of those. Are they still going to be called the Kansas City Chiefs? Do you really need to ask me that question? Bro, come on. You know the answer. And I'm embarrassed that I even have to answer this. The New York Giants and the New York Jets are in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The LA Chargers and the LA Rams are in Inglewood. The Dallas Cowboys are in Arlington. The Buffalo Bills are in Orchard Park. The San Francisco 49ers, they are, where are the 49ers? What city are they? Santa Clara, that's where they are. I'm sure I'm forgetting one more team, but there are a lot of teams that don't play in the same city as their full title indicates. And by the way, what city are the Chiefs moving to, expected to move to? Kansas City, Kansas. So yes, they would still be called the Kansas City Chiefs. And yes, the Royals might be moving to Overland Park, but they would still be called the Kansas City Royals. I would be shocked if that wasn't the case. Rob says even Yankee Stadium closed. Yeah, I mean, listen. What will the new stadium be called? Yeah, John, that's a great question. That is an actual question that we should be asking. What would the name of that new stadium be? Ryan says, as a Jackson County resident, I'm a bit nervous about tax implications. And understandably so. Listen, I don't think this spells the end of Jackson County or Kansas City, Missouri. Listen, as someone who lives way south of the metro area, first of all, the distance to the new stadium is going to be this for me. Second of all, I would still go to Kansas City, Missouri. There are still things to do in KC-Mo. You've got the plaza, you've got Westport, you've got downtown, PNL, the River Market. I mean, the KC Current, that area, North KC, the Northland area, Zona Rosa. I mean, Kansas City, Missouri still has a lot to be proud of in terms of what they have and things to do. You're just not going to have the Chiefs and the Royals. And yes, Truman Sports Complex is going to have a very empty parking lot with two big stadiums. And what specifically will happen to those stadiums, that I cannot tell you. You would have to ask the people who own that, and that is the county. Brandon says this could be a scare tactic to put a new offer for the Chiefs to stay in KC-Mo. I assume you mean KC-Mo. I mean, Brandon, if they were going to do that, the time to do it is not now. I mean, if you think this is a scare tactic and assuming the Chiefs are going to announce something on Monday, doing it this time of year is not a good idea. Yes, politicians have an obligation, but they also have a life. A lot of people have Christmas parties to attend. People have their holiday events to do. This would not be the time to demand a new deal. If you were going to do it, like, listen, I know I shared the statement from Governor Mike Kehoe and Mayor Quinton Lucas. They're no dummies. They knew this was going to happen. They're aware of it. The Chiefs, I'm sure, told them, hey, we're ready to make this deal with Kansas. Do you have anything else you can offer? It's not called Arrowhead. It's GEHA. Yeah, that's what they call it now, or that's what they try to tell you it is. It's funny because Andy Reid calls it GEH Field at Arrowhead Stadium. And the players, whenever they're on the mic or they do interviews, they never call it GEHA Field. They call it Arrowhead. Yes, a roof would make Arrowhead even louder. That is what the state of Missouri was trying to propose. Man, a lot of you guys have a lot of thoughts on this. And listen, I understand. I don't expect everyone to be happy about this, but look, don't blame the residents of Jackson County. The Chiefs and the Royals did not have a good campaign. When you don't have a good campaign, no one's going to vote in your favor. Let me ask you guys this. And I know in today, politically, people will vote with political allegiance, being Republican or Democrat. But if you're truly one of those people that does not vote by political lines and you will actually vote based on the person and their policies that they're proposing, if you have a president, a governor, a mayor, a senator, anybody that is asking for your vote, you want to know what their agendas are going to be. And more importantly, you want to know how they are going to try to achieve those agendas. If a politician does not tell you how if they just tell you what their agendas are, but they're not going to tell you how they're going to achieve them, are you going to vote for them? You sure as hell shouldn't. That is what the Chiefs and the Royals did in 2024. They said, hey, this is what we want. This is what we are aiming for. And we want you to vote yes or we're out of here. And listen, I think Mark Donovan deserves some criticism as well, because he did that interview with Channel 41 and said, if we don't get this vote in our favor, we will consider leaving. I think his tone came off in a way he did not mean for it to come off. But I think he could have been better with that delivery. But I also think at the same time, the Chiefs and Royals made it clear, hey, vote yes, what was the main slogan? Vote yes to keep our teams here. Great. I want them to stay. But give me a reason to vote yes. The Royals and the Chiefs did not give you Jackson County residents a reason. I think the 42% that voted yes just desperately wanted them to stay. And those who voted no saw a lot of holes in that campaign. Listen, I know a lot of people criticize KC Tenants and Frank White. Listen, I think people give KC Tenants way too much credit. Yes, they had an agenda. Yes, they had a narrative that they wanted to pull off, and they did. But I don't think it was just KC Tenants. Now, if you want to blame Frank White, fine, because everyone knows about property taxes and how they were soaring in Jackson County. I mean, Frank White had been under fire for a long time. When the Royals had their 1985 reunion at Kauffman Stadium and they introduced every player, I was nervous. I was like, oh, wait a minute. They're cheering for every single Royals legend that's being introduced. Is Frank White going to get cheered? He got booed. No one had cared that it was a special reunion of the 85 team. The people at Kauffman Stadium had a message for Frank White, and they delivered. Even in the occasion of a 1985 World Series reunion. Hence why Frank White has been ousted by Jackson County. And by the way, Mark Donovan was trying to be patient with Jackson County. He didn't necessarily say it verbatim, but he mentioned, hey, listen, we know the city and the county have some things to figure out with property taxes, with their county executive, and a few other things. And look, I think another thing that a lot of people are accusing the Chiefs and the Royals of intentionally putting together a bad campaign so they can leave. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I think that's disingenuous. Listen, I know $1 million might not mean much to the Hunt family, but I don't think they still would waste $1 million on this. Because if you remember, 2 weeks before the vote, Clark Hunt put out a statement on the Chiefs website, and that same statement was a letter delivered to all Jackson County residents. They were basically promising help with local housing. They were also trying to clarify that this is not a new sales tax. This is simply renewing the 3/8 of a cent sales tax in Jackson County. And then KC Tenants, they were trying to say, no, this is new. I will say, I mean, that's misinformation there from their end. But I still think people give them way too much credit. It's Wendy where you guys are. Yeah, it's insane. Dalton says, is this for certain? No. But they're at the 1 yard line, man. It is 1st and goal at the 1, and Kansas is about to push this. Or hunt bunt. If you the hunt bunt has a better success rate. So let's go with that. They're hunt bunting this. All right? They're hunt bunting. The LA Angels of Anaheim, exactly. I mean, there are a lot of teams in this country. Their full title stating where they're from, that team's stadium is not in that exact city. Excuse me. Mahomes will retire before the new stadium is finished. He's got a great record in dome stadiums. So, I mean, he'll be old by then, but I'd still like to see him try. Nagy needs to go, not Arrowhead. I agree. I think we all agree on that one. Jacob says the Royals screwed the Chiefs over with the vote. I don't really disagree. Like, the Royals had a really bad campaign. Because they were handcuffed together, yeah, I agree. But I only agree to an extent, Jacob. Like, seriously, Jacob, do you think that $800 million renovation plan, like, be honest with me, man. Let me pull that up. Because, man, this was such a terrible renovation plan. Oh, it does not even exist on the Chiefs website anymore. Uh-oh. That is gone. It was there before. That's new. I'm sure it's somewhere over. I can find it. Someone took a picture of KCTV5. Okay, we can just go with this. Bear with me one moment, guys. I'm going to zoom in on this. So this is what the Arrowhead renovations were. This is from KCTV5 here. Okay. VIP entry and canopy. And then if you look across where the side where the skybox is, another VIP entry and new video boards. Oh, and there's a rideshare area. Now the activity zone where what was supposed to be the former Royals site, that I actually think it's cool. Either you do an activity zone or you create more parking spots. That activity zone is the only thing I liked about this renovation plan. This is not worth $800 million. Again, like the biggest part here is the activity zone and VIP entry. I mean, you're basically just saying, screw you, poor people. That is what you said. You have NASCAR and the Chiefs. It will be big enough to get NBA. There's been some talks recently as to whether or not this could allow the city of Kansas City, Missouri, that is, to now pursue an NBA team. I personally would love an NHL team, but I would not mind either one. Yeah, politicians, man, I don't get it. Do you know how much revenue and recognition KC loses with them moving? Yes, we've addressed that many times. And I understand if you feel that way, Tammy, but blame the teams for a bad campaign. And you know what? Blame the politicians too, because they never once questioned anything in this bad campaign. Mayor Quinton Lucas admitted he was not aware of the miscommunication between the Royals and the Crossroads, the businesses at the Crossroads. And then the next morning, Mayor Quinton Lucas went on KMBZ radio with Dana and Parks. He admitted it was not a good campaign. So you admitted this was not a good campaign. Well, it's easier to say that after you lose a vote, but you're basically admitting it was not a good campaign. So why the hell did you not say something to the teams? You could have said something. There could have been an adjustment in the campaign and the renovation proposal and the Royals proposal for a brand new stadium. And I think you would have had a lot more votes in your favor had someone said something. I think the problem is because the Chiefs just came off their third Super Bowl win in the span of 5 years, and the Royals, yeah, they weren't coming off a good season at the time, but they're still the Royals. And I think with the Chiefs kind of being the main attraction of that campaign, I think the local politicians were afraid to say anything. You speak against the back-to-back Super Bowl champions, I guess that was not going to be a good look for that politician. I guess someone should have said something. Listen, I'll just say it again. They're staying in the Kansas City area. Would you rather they go to Salt Lake City, San Antonio, cities that don't have an NFL team, St. Louis? I know you all would have been outraged if they went to St. Louis. The crowd that's pro-Missouri, anti-Kansas, I do not see them supporting the Chiefs if they move to St. Louis. I'm sure you guys would have been very upset. Arrowhead advantage is real. They don't realize what they're losing if they push through. That being said, Missouri should have stepped up. I don't disagree with you. I mean, everything you said is accurate. But again, let me just say this. Yes, playing outdoors, I guess that's an advantage. I guess the Chargers and the Texans missed that memo because they came to a cold Arrowhead and took care of business. Regardless how it happened, still a lot, because a lot of guys told me recently, oh, Farzine, you're a fool for picking the Chiefs. The Texans are an indoor team from a warm state. Same with the Chargers. Well, those teams came into Arrowhead and won both back-to-back weeks. I digress, though. The point that we're not here to talk football. We're here to talk about this stadium deal. Listen, a lot of teams are going indoors now. I think like Lambeau Field, sure, that will probably stick around for a long, long time. Buffalo's building a brand new stadium, and that's going to be outdoors. I think they're making a mistake, but that's what they're going with. Let me pull this up because right now, I believe it's 1/3 of NFL stadiums are indoors. Let me pull it up here. So you have the Vikings, the Chargers and Rams. I'm going to count them only as one. You have Allegiant Stadium, the Raiders, State Farm Stadium, the Cardinals. The Texans have an indoor stadium. The Falcons at 6. The Colts were at 7. Cowboys were at 8. And then the Saints and the Lions. We have 10 stadiums that are indoors. They play indoors. And by the way, we don't have 32. We have 32 NFL teams, but we have 30 stadiums. The Jets and Giants share a stadium, and the Rams and Chargers share a stadium. So we have 30 stadiums right now in 2025, almost 2026. 1/3 of NFL stadiums are indoors. And yes, there have been a lot of new stadiums recently that have gone that direction. Allegiant Stadium, SoFi Stadium, Mercedes-Benz, US Bank Stadium, not Levi Stadium. AT&T Stadium, Lucas Oil, State Farm. I know we're going mid-2000s, but yeah, you're starting to see more and more indoor stadiums. It was only, 5 or 6? Now it's 10. We have 1/3 of NFL stadiums that are indoors. And as far as future stadiums go, the Bills are building an open-air stadium, but the Titans, the Browns, the Commanders, they're going indoors. The Chicago Bears are seeking an indoor stadium. The Denver Broncos, how old is that Broncos stadium? Let me look that up because I did not think it was that old. The Broncos stadium opened in 2001. I mean, that's not necessarily new, but man, that's far from old. And they're already looking for a brand new stadium. And they're proposing one for 2031. The Chiefs are looking to get one in 2031. The Bears, the Broncos, and the Chiefs, if all of those deals go through, they will all have new indoor stadiums in 2031. I know a lot of you guys don't like it, but that is the direction we're going in. We have 10 teams, or 10 stadiums rather. The Titans, Browns, Commanders would make it 13. The Bears and the Broncos and the Chiefs, if they all go through with this, 16 stadiums will be indoors in 2031. That would be more than half of NFL stadiums. And that number is only going to go up. I mean, let's look at some of the older stadiums. Chicago Bears, theirs opened in 1924. They're ready to move on. Lambeau Field opened in 1957. Arrowhead opened in 1972. They're about to move on. Buffalo Stadium opened in 73. They're about to move on. Now, you have the Miami Dolphins. They're already in a warm climate, so they're probably not. They're getting Super Bowls, even without a dome. The Jaguars in 95. The Panthers, their stadium opened in 1996. I don't think Bank of America Stadium has ever hosted a Super Bowl, has it? I don't believe it has. So if Carolina ever wants a piece of the pie, theirs opened in 96, probably something for them to consider. The Ravens, their stadium opened in 1998. I'm skipping over Raymond James Stadium because, again, they're in Florida. But yeah, the Ravens, would not surprise me if M&T Bank became a thing in the past. And they also wanted an indoor stadium so they could get a piece of the pie, all of these opportunities. Again, I know some of you guys don't like it. I get it. But we are seeing more and more teams move indoors. Yeah, I know. I think it's a little weird that people in Missouri, this Kansas Missouri thing is weird to me over the Chiefs. Like, listen, we have fans from both sides of the state line. Hell, we have Jayhawks fans in Missouri. We have Tigers fans in Kansas. We have Wildcats fans in Missouri. Like, I don't get these things sometimes. But for Missouri Chiefs fans to gatekeep the teams, I think is a little weird. You're about to see Kansas fans do the exact same thing, and I'm going to call it out. I'm going to say it's weird. What's the stadium capacity going to be? I believe that's a great question. Pete Mundo. Let me pull that up because Pete Mundo put out the report for the request for proposal. And I believe it was going to be 65,000. Yeah, they were going to have a rolling turf just like what Allegiant Stadium has. So, yes, according to Pete Mundo, it would be a domed 65,000 seat stadium plus retractable grass field. That was on November the 7th. That request for proposal was submitted. And I guess there's some serious approval happening if they're meeting on Monday in Topeka. I mean, listen, for those saying Arrowhead won't be loud anymore, do people lose the ability to cheer loudly in Kansas instead of Missouri? Like, I don't get that. Yes, there will be fewer fans, but Allen Fieldhouse, which is in Kansas, they have the loudest basketball arena in college basketball. Arrowhead Stadium has the loudest stadium in the NFL, and it's the loudest stadium in the world. So you'll still have those loud fans. Yeah, sure. Some fans might never ever go to a game because they hold a grudge against the state of Kansas, but the passion will still be there. Missouri already let one NFL team go. Their fault if they lose another. Yeah, I mean, you're right. This has been discussed. The fact that the state of Missouri lost the Rams and now they're about to lose the Chiefs and the Royals. I mean, what does Kansas City, Missouri have for now? If the Chiefs and Royals announce they're moving, KC Current will be their only pro sports team. That's weird to say. They lost the Wizards. They rebranded to Sporting KC, but a lot of people didn't really lose sleep over it. A lot of people not happy about this this whole situation with the Chiefs. Yeah, I wish they could have done something like AT&T Stadium where they have a bunch of seats. I guess there are certain regulations. Listen, I'm not an architect. I don't know all the laws involving that, so I don't know those details, but I guess, listen, I'd like to think there was a way to do more than 65,000 seats. They got to figure that out. Come on. 65K seats, make it at least 70. Listen, I've been to Allegiant Stadium many times, 3 times to be exact. I'm going to be going in a couple of weeks, which is unfortunate considering that's not going to be much of a game with any meaning. But I've been there for a couple of concerts. I've been there for a couple of games. It is a nice stadium, man. And I've also gotten a tour of the stadium. It is a damn nice stadium. I've been there for a couple of concerts. Great time, man. Had a great time. Been there for a couple of football games. A lot of fun watching a game there. So, listen, I do have plans of going to SoFi Stadium. I wanted to go this year, but the Chiefs obviously played in Brazil, not in LA. Next year, unless, assuming the Chiefs don't have an international game next year, they are expected to visit SoFi Stadium twice. So I'd like to check that out just to kind of see, what the Chiefs could be getting themselves into. Yeah, a lot of people saying, great. Look, I'll say this right now. I am in the camp that owners should pay for their own stadiums. but that's not how it works. It's not how it works. Even the American Royal moves to Kansas. Well, there you go. I mean, listen, to act like some people have never crossed the state line, I find that hard to believe. I mean, we have the legends on the KC side. We have Sporting KC, the Speedway, Joe's KC Barbecue is on the Kansas side. All three of them slaps. You mean to tell me you've never crossed the state line? You've only stayed in the state of Missouri when hanging out doing whatever in the Kansas City area? Come on. Again, like I believe there are a lot of great things to do on both sides of the state line. I will say this, and I know we got off topic earlier. Yeah, the Monarchs. I think I said T-Bones earlier. But yeah, the Monarchs are also there. I think one thing that's maybe chased the Chiefs and the Royals out of there, because listen, I genuinely believe the Chiefs and Royals wanted to stay. But I think one big reason for them to want to move, the crime. Listen, I know the Royals really wanted a downtown stadium, and I guess Washington Square Park would still be considered within the downtown fray and all, but boy, I don't know if that would be a good idea. With the amount of crime that's happening in downtown Kansas City right now, there's a lot to figure out. And the mayor's always coming up with different reasons as to why these things are happening. Man, I don't know. I really hope you're right, and they do announce their decision to move to Kansas. I've been on board with the idea of them moving to Kansas since the very beginning. The Kansas Legends. That's what you want them to be named. To be honest, the area where the stadium is located is trash. I think that's a little bit of a harsh word there. It's not safe. It's not really viewed as the area surrounding it. No, it's not really viewed safe at all. It's certainly not. And again, the mayor has said we can do more to activate the area around it by building some sort of an entertainment district in place of the Royals, where the Royals are now. Guys, like, let's say, what are they going to build there? Are they going to build a rally house, a Buffalo Wild Wings, a what are some local bars? A Peanut. What's the Johnny's Tavern? That's what I was thinking of. You really think people are going to go to the Truman Sports Complex? Because the idea was the Royals would leave. So then, as far as events at the Truman Sports Complex, you would have, I know they're going to add an 18th game eventually. So you would have 9 home games, 1 or 2 preseason games. And, you know, being the Chiefs are dominant over the years, not this year, but 1 or 2 playoff games. So you would have 11 or 12 events. Outside of those 11 or 12 events, is anyone going to drive to the Truman Sports Complex to go to a sports bar or to shop at Rally House or whatever else they planned possibly there? Hell no. I'm not. I can go to other Buffalo Wild Wings in town, other Johnny's Taverns in town, other rally houses in town. No, they're not going to change the name. Like the team name, the Chiefs, they're keeping that. Nothing special about Kansas City, Kansas, Bob. I mean, the Legends, Sporting is there, the Speedway. I mean, you're going to have the Chiefs now. And I know this is not KCK, which is what you're referring to, but I mean, the Royals, I know we're not spending a lot of time talking about them. Listen, let me just say this about the Royals. Washington Square Park, if you guys don't know where Washington Square Park is, it is east of where Union Station is. Go drive by Washington Square Park. Tell me if that's a great venue to house a baseball team. Maybe an MLS team like Sporting KC, if they were to ever choose that site, I think that would work. But a professional Major League Baseball team, absolutely not. A minor league baseball team, maybe. Not a major league baseball team. That area is way too small to house a professional baseball team. So Washington Square Park is not going to work. Now, your other options are North KC and 119th and Null. I will say, with 119th and Null, and the rumor coming out recently that T-Mobile is willing to move, well, the Royals own the mortgage, so you don't have much of a choice. The area, the landmass is huge. That absolutely will work. And you also have an entertainment district across the street. There are a lot of restaurants at Town Center and Park Place. You've got Dick's Sporting Goods, you got a movie theater. Now, would I personally go to a movie and then a sporting event, or the other way around, go to a sporting event first and then a movie? No. Now, I could definitely see a big partnership between the Royals and Dick's Sporting Goods. If the Royals win a game, hey, take your ticket over to that Dick's Sporting Goods and only that location eligible and get 20% off at whatever you want to purchase or something along those lines. I don't know. I can see that. And that would be a big sell for Dick's Sporting Goods. But it is an obscure area. It's not right next to the highway, kind of like how the new Chiefs Stadium will be, kind of like how the current Chiefs and Royal Stadiums are. It is at an obscure location, and they would have to really rework the streets of 119th and Null. And by the way, the stadium would technically be located in Overland Park, but across the street, Town Center, is Leawood. So how do you handle traffic when police departments want to get involved? Would both police departments be a part of this? Would Overland Park be allowed to be in Leawood city limits to help navigate the traffic? That's a big question that needs to be answered. Bowie says Kansas laws suck ass too. Like what? What? Please tell me what specifically. I would love to know. Keep your weed in Missouri. Why not move the Chiefs to Jeff City? Hell no, Christian. Get out of here with that. You're a Broncos fan, and you're saying that. Christian's cool, though. Don't be mean to him. He's called in a few times. Royals should build near I-35 in Olathe and Gardner. Are you referring to where the Great Mall used to be? Again, kind of like where 119th and Null is with the former T-Mobile campus, or I guess soon to be former T-Mobile campus. I'm not opposed because the landmass is pretty big. But again, Olathe is just an obscure area for a stadium. By the way, I appreciate all the people joining us, watching this. If you guys are enjoying this, please share this. Let your friends know about this live stream. This podcast greatly helps us out. And a reminder, tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time, we are doing the Red Friday Q&A live chat. So come in tomorrow. I'm sure we'll discuss this more. We'll also talk about the Chiefs, as there's still some things to talk about with the Chiefs. If you listen to their press conferences today, there were certainly some interesting things to respond to. But we'll do that for tomorrow. Again, for those of you joining us, just to be clear, this is not official yet. However, the Chiefs are expected to meet with the state in Topeka on Monday, and an announcement is expected very shortly after that. The Royals are not scheduled to have a meeting with Topeka or in Topeka yet, but it's expected that some meeting will happen before the end of 2025, which is in 13 days. So this is about to be a very interesting 13 days. I'm sure nothing's going to happen on the day of Christmas or Christmas Eve, but the other 11 days, there's a lot that can go down. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. Wasn't the whole purpose of the Royals and Sherman's vision to have a downtown ballpark? Why would they move further away from downtown? Number one, because Jackson County turned it down, and the Royals have no one to blame but themselves because their campaign for that was awful. Number two, Washington Square Park is a terrible site unless you're going to take down other buildings there, which I don't trust the Royals to negotiate that there because they've already failed at that. So this is the downtown area just doesn't sound reasonable. And I know they want to be next to an entertainment district. Well, there aren't a lot of other options. Perhaps maybe the Legends area if something pops up, but 119th and Null sounds like it could work in their favor. I know that's not the heart of the metro, but they don't have a lot of other options right now. Petrolize again, y'all got worked. How sure are you, Terrence? Because a lot of people are confirming what Petro said. I mean, the Kansas State of Commerce just confirmed that report. Like the Chiefs are literally... I know a lot of people don't like to hear that the Chiefs are moving out of Arrowhead, but at this point, like, if you're just accusing him trying to do it for ratings, why? I mean, this is literally about to happen. This is not some made up story. Other people in the media are reporting this. It's not just he was the first one, but others have followed up with it with their sources. Yeah, the other part of it too, John Sherman has no idea what the hell he's doing. Absolutely no idea. Like, they went from North KC to downtown, back to North KC, back to downtown. Downtown got turned down by the county. So they went to Washington Square Park, then 119th and Null, then North KC, and then back to 119. Like, the Royals don't even know what the hell they're doing. They really don't. On a bright note, Casey Mo can cater barbecue into Kansas and expand their area. I mean, sure. But there's barbecue in Kansas also. I'm not saying, like, if you're suggesting like a sponsor for the teams, it doesn't have to be a barbecue in Kansas. It could be Q39. It could be Gates, Jack Stack, Arthur Bryant's. It could also be Joe's, which is in Kansas. Oh, you're being facetious. Okay, my bad. Yeah, I mean, you would not be getting a new team for Missouri. That would be unfortunate. Frank White, I think you can blame Frank White to an extent because of the property taxes. I think that's another big reason why Jackson County residents said no. Mayor Quinton Lucas, Mayor Quinton Lucas deserves a lot of criticism because I'll tell you what, he's out there publicly on his live stream saying, yeah, we can activate the area around it. We can do all these things. Washington Square Park is valid. We don't need any state local assistance. The 50% is enough. The Chiefs, they weren't directly trying to disagree with him, but when they were asked questions, they went the other way around. I mean, there are a lot of things that the mayor has fumbled on this. Well, you can still tailgate at a dome because with the renovation proposal in the Kansas side, that's a Kansas proposal, not a Chiefs proposal per se. But I would imagine the Chiefs liked what they saw and they probably wanted to tweak a few things. The parking lot is still pretty big, so there still would be tailgating. And the Chiefs have said that they issued a survey to all their season ticket holders, and the three big things they wanted were to still have a loud stadium. I mean, you can still have that at a dome. Have a tailgating experience. I think you can have that with what we saw in the renovated proposal, or I'm sorry, not renovation proposal, the rendering proposal. And the other thing was a big parking lot, and that appears to also be what they're going to go for as well. If Missouri loses two sports teams, I don't see NBA or NHL being an option, knowing that two teams had just left. That's a valid point, John. I think a potential NBA or NHL tenant, they might be scared. They'll probably say, hey, you just lost two teams. Why would we want to come here? That's a valid point. And I would hate that because I do want an NBA or an NHL team in Kansas City. I would love both. Now, I mean, listen, I'd still be a Vegas Golden Knights fan and a Lakers fan, but I'd be supportive of the local NBA KC team. Yeah, I like the T-Mobile Center. I was about to say T-Mobile Arena. That's in Vegas. I think it's a great arena. I can't remember who it was, but during the Big 12 tournament, there was an NBA scout here, and someone that covers one of the Big 12 teams, they were talking to an NBA scout, and that NBA scout said, "I'm shocked you do not have an NBA team." I agree. And I don't think the city has even aggressively tried to pursue an NBA or an NHL team. I mean, man, let's make it happen. One big reason why they built that arena is because they were in the hunt to get the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, a lot of people feel like the Penguins were using Kansas City as leverage, kind of like how people thought the Chiefs were using Kansas as leverage. So that way the Penguins could get what they want, and they ended up getting what they were asking for. But I say, listen, I mean, if you have professional sports scouts coming to Kansas City and saying this arena should have a pro sports team, make it happen, man. I mean, listen, I've been to the T-Mobile Center for concerts, WWE, UFC. I remember back when they had the Kansas City Brigade. They had the Arena League there. I mean, dude, it's a great arena. It was considered one of the busiest arenas before the pandemic. So, man, if you're part of the T-Mobile Center upper management, make something happen. Yeah, John says Kansas City used to host NBA and NHL preseason games. So for those who don't know, I used to work in media production for the Royals, and they were looking for more help with their media production for events at the arena. At the time, it was called the Sprint Center. So I said, yeah, I'll work there. I'd be happy to get more money. Why not? It's freelance work. That's what a lot of media production is. But I went there for an NBA preseason game and an NHL preseason game. And the Blues, which used to come here every year for a preseason game. They loved coming here. And by the way, I'll say this also. The NCAA loves the T-Mobile Center. They absolutely do. And I can tell you this for a fact, because when I was working media production for the KU Oregon Elite 8 game, which was a heartbreaker for a lot of people in that building, one of the reps from the NCAA told me, he said, when we put together our plan for the NCAA tournament and where we want to go, I will always campaign Kansas City for regionals because they deserve it. So that arena is very highly thought of by the NCAA, by NBA scouts, and so many others. So it is a shame that this city does not have a pro sports team in that arena. Absolutely should have happened by now. I know it was one of the busiest arenas before when putting out concerts and whatnot, and that's changed since the pandemic. Dude, I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for the game being scheduled on Sunday, because that's when NFL games occur, I would have 100% been there for KUMU. I mean, that is a fun place to watch a KU basketball game. And look, I get it. Allen Fieldhouse, that's a historic place, but man, that is a fun place. Kansas City, that is, to watch a KU basketball game. There's a reason why the Big 12 tournament, I mean, they would alternate between Kansas City and a couple of other cities, and now they've been Kansas City the full time. They love where the arena is and where the PNL district is, and how people hang out there and then head over for a game. Kind of like what you might see with 119th and Null. People can hang out at a sports bar or wherever at Town Center or Park Place, and then they'll go across the street to the new Kauffman Stadium, whatever it'll be called. Nick Wright stated he's not a Chiefs fan. Hold on. I gotta verify this. Did Nick Wright really say he's not a Chiefs fan because of this? I'm verifying this. No, he never said that. Come on, man. Like, if you're going to claim something that big, you know I'm going to check on that. I remember the Casey Comets in the NBA. Can't believe it didn't work. Yeah. And I think that's the other thing, too, is what I don't know exactly like what level they were, but remember the Kansas City Outlaws? Oh, no, not KC Outlaws. There was a hockey team. Yes, it was the Outlaws. Now the Kansas City Outlaws, they are a professional bull riding team. But there was a minor league hockey team in Kansas City for one season. Only one season. And it was in Kemper Arena. Unfortunately, that's it. Lasted just 1 year. Now, the Kansas City Mavericks, or the Missouri Mavericks, whatever they're called, they're doing pretty well. They've been in Kansas City for quite some time, or Independence to be specific. Let me check. How long have the Missouri Mavericks been here? They were founded in 2009. And now the name of that arena has changed many times. It's now Cable Dahmer Arena. Which, by the way, I'll be honest, I have not been there. For those who've been to a Missouri Mavericks game, how is the arena? Do you like it? Is the area safe? I'll be honest, I'm not too far. I know Independence Center is not too far from there, but I'm not familiar with that area as a whole. That arena broke ground in 2008 and it opened 15 months later. Okay. So that's not new, but it's also not terribly old either. Yeah, I've got to make it to man, I've been trying to go to a Sporting KC game. I used to go to Wizards games a lot back when they were sharing with the T-Bones. But for whatever reason, I just haven't made it out to a Sporting KC game. Was going to do it this year, just didn't work with my schedule. But I do need to go to a Missouri Mavs game, Missouri Mavs game, a Sporting KC game, and a KC Current game. Though, dude, I was trying to buy tickets for a KC Current game. I was trying to get their tickets off SeatGeek, which is the only place where you can get them, which is a sponsor of this podcast, by the way. Dude, it was like $150 the week of the game. And then I waited a couple days later, it bumped up to $200. That's more than what my ticket price was. I sold my tickets. I'm like, there's no way I'm paying that much to park for a soccer game. Like, I'm sorry, no disrespect, but that is like straight up robbery. Sacramento Kings, yeah. Yeah, I've heard stories about that. The Scouts. Used to have Mavs season tickets till I moved to the lake. It's a fun game. Okay. Yeah, I definitely need to I need to make it out there for a game. I think there was a Missouri Mavericks goalie that became one of the backup goalies for the Golden Knights. I can't remember his name, but yeah, I certainly need to make it out there for a game. But it sounds like the Chiefs, they are very close to officially moving to Kansas City, Kansas, and it appears the Royals are also strongly considering that as well. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. This has been a nice 90-minute podcast. Was not expecting to do a podcast tonight. Was honestly going to relax, watch some TV, but here we are. I appreciate all of you who joined and watched live for the surprise episode of the Chiefs Zone podcast. If you enjoyed this, please share it with your friends. Let them know about the podcast. If you missed any part of this, we are going to archive this very shortly on Facebook, YouTube, X, also on audio websites like Apple, Spotify, anywhere else where you can download and listen to a podcast. So make sure you guys tune in and listen to the podcast there. My name is Farzin Vousoughian. Thank you all for joining me once again. I'm out. I will talk to you all tomorrow, 5 p.m. Red Friday Q&A live chat.